Ever heard of a major civilization hiding in plain sight right at the crossroads of the ancient world? For centuries, they were people defined almost entirely by others. But now, well, now their own story is finally coming to light. All right, let's just dive right in. What you're looking at here isn't just some pretty ancient art. It's a message from the past. It's a message from the Thracians, a people who, honestly, are often just a footnote in the epic stories of the Greeks and Romans. But this single image tells us, oh, there is so much more to their story.
And to get a sense of that story, just try to picture this. In one single valley, in what's now Bulgaria, there were over 1,300 of these giant burial mounds dotting the landscape. Most of them have been sealed for millennia, creating this vast, silent city of the dead. This incredible place is now known as the Valley of the Thracian Kings. And for archaeologists, it's basically a giant historical puzzle box, holding the secrets of a mysterious and really powerful civilization that ran this whole region for centuries. So that begs the question, right? Who exactly were these people? For the longest time, everything we thought we knew about them came from their neighbors. And let's be honest, their rivals, the Greeks and the Romans. And to them, the Thracians were just these fierce, barbarian warriors. But now, archaeology, it's finally giving the Thracians their own voice. And here is the real game changer from all the latest finds. They were not just some loose collection of tribes. No way. The evidence we have now shows they were a sophisticated, organized kingdom. They had major cities, incredible art, and a complex social structure that could go toe-to-toe with anyone in the ancient world. And this table here gives you a fantastic sense of their footprint. We're talking about real cities, like Southopolis, their capital, and Philippopolis, which you might actually know today as Plovdiv. These were buzzing centers of power, trade, and culture long before the first Roman legions ever showed up. Okay, so if this valley is packed with royal tombs, who were the royals? To solve that mystery, we gotta find the kings who built them. And that search, it takes us to a legendary lost city. And our investigation leads us straight to this guy, King Seuthes III. He was a powerful, ambitious ruler who, after some pretty intense fights with the Macedonians, basically put the Thracian kingdom back on the map and founded a huge capital city, naming it after himself, around 320 BC. Now, what's so cool about this discovery is how personal it feels. This isn't some generic, stylized statue of a king. Thanks to this incredible artistry, look at those copper lips and lifelike eyes. We can look directly into the face of a Thracian king from 2,300 years ago. It's amazing. And his capital, Southopolis, was a real marvel. We're talking a fortified, booming city. And the crucial part is, it was the only major city we know of that was built by the Thracians themselves. It was a pure expression of their own culture and their own power. And this is where the story gets a little bit sad, a little poignant. The great capital of the Thracian kings is a lost world in the most literal sense. It's submerged by the modern age, hidden completely beneath the waves of a reservoir. But a king's power isn't just about building cities and having armies. For the Thracians, real power, the absolute right to rule, came from somewhere divine, somewhere mystical. Right at the very heart of their whole belief system was the great mother goddess. She was everything, the source of all life, the embodiment of the earth itself. She controlled life, death, rebirth, the whole cycle, and she was the one who gave a king his power. So, you're a mortal king. How do you get access to that kind of divine power? You do it through a sacred ritual known as hierogamy, which is basically a symbolic, sacred marriage to the goddess herself. This was the ultimate source of a king's right to rule. And this was no small thing. It wasn't just a political stunt. This was the absolute foundation of their royal ideology. In fact, the famous frescoes inside the Kazanlak tomb show this exact ceremony. It literally transformed the ruler into the chosen son, the partner of the all-powerful goddess. So this sacred marriage, it guaranteed the king's authority while he was alive. But as these incredible tomb paintings from both Kazanlak and Svestari show, it also promised something even bigger, that he would become a god himself and achieve immortality in the afterlife. And that belief, the belief in becoming a god, well, that explains why their tombs were so much more than just burial sites. They were treasure houses, literally palaces for the afterlife, designed to set up these newly divine kings for an eternity of power.
Now, when you look at these treasures, you can see that the Thracians were a true cultural crossroads. Yeah, they hired Greek architects and they adopted Greek styles for sure, but they never just copied. They were always adapting, remixing, and creating something totally uniquely their own.
And this is where you really see their mastery. It's an art called Turakitics, which is a fancy word for working with precious metals. And their work just proves they weren't just warriors. They were patrons and creators of some of the most stunning art in the entire ancient world. So all of this mind-blowing treasure we've seen, it comes from the roughly 300 tombs that have been opened so far. But this chart, this really puts it all in perspective. It shows just how much of the Thracian story is still down there, buried and waiting. Think about it. Over 1,000 more tombs are still sealed. So, let's pull it all together. After piecing together these clues, the lost cities, the sacred rituals, the golden treasures, what have we really learned about this supposedly lost civilization? Well, what the evidence on this timeline reveals is a sophisticated, wealthy, and spiritually deep civilization that was an absolute powerhouse in the ancient world. From the rise of their kingdom, to the founding of their great capital, to these incredible tombs, their story is finally taking shape. Bottom line, the mystery of the Valley of the Kings is finally being solved. And in solving it, we're rediscovering a vital chapter of human history that was so close to being forgotten forever. And that leaves us with one final and pretty thrilling thought. We've uncovered so much already, but with over 1,000 of those tombs still sealed shut, the greatest secrets of the Thracian kings might still be out there, just waiting. The story of ancient Thrace is definitely still being written.